episode of the
Another episode.
Sit down. The Barber came sit down, you guys. Today we're just gonna jump right into it. Well, first of all, let me just ask you, man, how was your weekend? How was, the 4th of July has been passed.
Yeah.
And, we damn near out of July. So how was
shit been cool, man. Yeah, 4th of July we did fireworks.
Sure did.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, man. It was my first time going to see the fireworks in Texas. This weekend I went back to, I done been to New York, then I just got back from Louisiana, so, but I had a good time. It was a little gathering for my brother's graduation. I had a good time with the family, so it was cool. We ate some turtle, man.
I seen that on your on your story.
Yeah, man.
I was like, they got some turtle. I miss turtles.
Yeah. Look at that snapper turtle.
I don't see nobody eating no turtles out here like that for real. We still in Georgia, so it was good.
For real?
Well, not me and mine, but me and my daddy.
Yeah.
That about it.
And it's my daddy that his side of the family, they cook it, they eat it.
Yeah, that's that country shit. Y'all probably don't know too much.
Y'all probably don't know too much about that, man. But
not if you're from Texas.
I ain't even gonna tell you to try it, because if you ain't from it, you ain't gonna understand it, you ain't gonna eat it, so I ain't gonna waste my time. But it's some expensive meat too. I found that out. Shit, like $50 a pack of this stuff.
Yeah, it's some good lean meat.
Get you right, man. But it's more than a cut. That's our episode today. It is more than just a cut, because y'all already know it can go so many different ways, and that's why we got it for our topic for today, because it can go so many different ways, so many avenues. It's more than just a cut.
Oh yeah, and for me, it being more than just a cut is it can tap into so many different, like she said, it can go so many different ways, but it taps into so many different parts of your aspect, your essence of just being who you are. You would think, like I know I said before, like I keep my business and my personal life separate, but that's on like a relationship wise basis. Yeah. When it comes to self, that shit is intertwined like an infinity knot. It don't separate. Whatever happens in your personal life is gonna happen in your business life, and whatever happens it's very hard to separate that. So you have to have some tools in place, just mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, everything. You have to check yourself in all different aspects. And it creates this experience that you guys get every time you sit in the chair.
Just to become a barber, just to become who we are today, man, it takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of sacrifices. It takes a lot of commitment. Yeah. And a lot of barbers, even us, it's all about the mindset. You go through different things. Yeah. We all have different stories and different times in our lives when we're chasing this career. So some people can be financially stable to, go to school and then just put all into a shop. You know what I'm saying? And take the time to build the clientele. Yeah. It takes time to build, and home still needs to be taken care of. Yeah. You still have bills, they don't stop for nobody. Life doesn't stop for nobody.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, what you said, home still has to be taken care of, is that a lot of the times, I know for you wake up stupid early in the morning to go to work. And then you get off at a decent hour where you might still be able to run a couple areas like things are open. But say, I live a normal barber's life. She on some other shit. She on some other shit. Nah, but for real, I come in a lot later than she does. So for me, when I leave, a lot of the times, things are closed. Yeah. So it's hard to run errands. As much as I would love to work 7 days a week, realistically, I cannot. Because if I do that, there's things I can't take care of just in my household alone. Just being able to run errands and stuff like that due to things being closed by the time I get off. And that's a sacrifice all in itself. Yes. And I know you said about sacrifice, we keep saying sacrifice.
We have to talk about what those sacrifices are.
So what are some of those sacrifices, man?
For me, just because you brought up, like schedule-wise. Yeah. So go to work early, I can get off at a decent time. I've had my times with not being able to work those hours.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The time that you came around, when you first came working in the shop, I wasn't working those hours yet.
No.
And I would always, tell the barbers when they come in, for me, it was when the hours that's on the door of the shop, whatever those hours are, in the beginning, that's what hours I was there.
Okay, yeah.
And then I had another period of time where my schedule would be like a more, let's say I would always say 10 to 7, 11 to 8, or 10 to 8, something like that in that time frame is good, because a lot of barbers come in from out of school and they think that, or people just say we can rush to wanting to work a 9 to 5 or a 7 to 3 or something like that. That's the times that people are at work.
Right.
So you gotta get the clients from somewhere.
That's another thing too. Just staying in that topic is just that you have to be strategical about, like, I hear everybody hollering about, oh, y'all get to make your own hours. You come to work when you want to come to work. No, it's nothing like what it seems, because although we get to make our own hours, yes, it's a very strategical plan that goes in hand of figuring out what those hours are. Like, you have to know what your clientele base is, one, and if you don't have clients, then you're in a whole different ball game, because then you have to be available enough to
gain those clients.
Yeah, to be in that shop, to be dependable. For even if you're not cutting hair, those people have to see your face just so they know you're going to be around. And slowly but surely, or even fast, it might be fast for you, but sure enough, people are going to start, referring different people to you. Oh, I see him. He's always in the shop. He looks like, he could cut, da-da-da-da-da-da. So word of mouth is going to travel for you. But that's just on the hand of if you're trying to build clientele. If you have clientele, you have to know what that clientele base is. What are these people doing? What are their jobs? What are their careers? When do they usually work? Because you want to be at the shop when they're not at work.
Yes.
Now, for the people it's a lot of people working because of COVID. It's a lot of people working from home. So that's even a whole nother
topic.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of different topics on just picking your schedule alone. You know what I'm saying? And time management, and being able to figure out, okay, I can do this for home on this day when I'm off, and then I can do this, on this day when I'm at work, or I get off at 4:00, so I can go do this, and like, everything is strategical. And 9 times out of 10, most barbers are looking at their schedule 2-3 times a day, or they're looking. It depends on how you're booked, but at least once a day, you're looking at your schedule, trying to figure out, okay, how can I make my life work with this schedule?
Now, as I get into building my clientele, because I'm doing referrals and stuff, like, my thing was always, you send me 3 people. For every 3 people you send, I'll give you a free service. 9 out of 10, those people are at that point valuing your time. They're not even going to want the free service.
Right.
So that's the thing about it. But have referrals or have systems in place, so when people come, before they get out the chair, try to see, have a conversation with them to try to see if you can get them booked. You can possibly get them booked for their next appointment before they walk out the door. So try that. And that's how you start building just a little clientele.
Most of them are going to say, if it's a good cut or you have a good skill set, most of them are going to be like, oh, what's your name, man? Or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
they're going to ask something before they leave.
You gained a client today, or I'll definitely do that. So most people are going to confirm if they're going to come back or not.
And another thing, offer them, try to get them to make a standing appointment. Offer that. That's another way to make sure your books is always, have somebody on it for certain days.
With that, now you have to make sure you are a dependable person.
Yes.
That's why we talk about time first. Exactly. You cannot make a schedule and not follow up behind that. Whatever schedule you make, stand on it.
Yes.
Make sure you're there. If you're going to be late, make sure you communicate with your clients. You know what I'm saying? Because you cannot expect your clients to do anything that you're not willing to do for them. So if you're expecting them to communicate when they're going to be late, make sure you communicate with them when you're going to be late. And so it's a lot of things that go into making sure that, you know what I'm saying, it's not stressful for you. You know, that the day's not stressful for you, and that the appointment isn't stressful for the client.
Yeah, work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, be patient with us when it comes to responding to text messages or, you know, getting you on that schedule. Please understand that, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that go on in the barbershop as well as in our personal lives that, you know, and it's a lot of other people that are hitting us up other than you. So, you know what I'm saying? We have to attend to multiple people on a daily basis. So just be patient with your barber, you know what I'm saying? Be understanding and understand that they're human just as you are.
We are, yes.
You know?
And that's for the clients, for the barbers, you have to be patient also. You know what I'm saying? Be patient to the journey, be patient to the process. When we give those times out and say, you know, what schedules work for what, you know, Danny have her schedule, I have the earlier schedule, and like I said, I grew to that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So those hours that you say that you're available, you need to be available. You have to be able to sit in the shop those hours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And take a lunch break or something like that, if any break at all. That's
important too, though. I want to stress that because to dig even deeper, like I've been in moments where I just want to throw this out there. I've cut with the flu. I've cut with food poisoning. I've cut with a boot on my foot because I broke my toe twice. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of instances where I cut where maybe I shouldn't have. And that flu thing was pre-COVID. I just want to say that I didn't even know I had the flu. Yeah. I thought I was tired because at that time I was working 7 days a week and I was working 12-hour shifts every day. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And at that time also I wasn't taking breaks. You know what I'm saying? I was working those 12 hours straight, no bathroom breaks, no eating breaks, no just sit down and go smoke breaks. Like I'm not taking no breaks. As soon as one out, one's in. And that's a whole day thing. You know what I'm saying? So I've been in positions where I've even had to sit down because my body wouldn't allow me to even get up because I've overworked myself. So I definitely stress self-care and making sure you take at least one off day. If you're somebody that loves to work, there's nothing wrong with that. But make sure you take care of yourself and give yourself at least 24 hours to sleep or to, you know, take a walk, to go get a manicure, pedicure, to go get a massage, to just, you know, do something that's outside of barbering because
you gotta take a break. You gotta take care of yourself.
You don't want to burn yourself out, bro.
Yeah, no.
You don't want to burn. If you want to do this for a long time, learn how to. It's a balance, man. Learn how to give a little and take a little. You know what I'm saying? You give a lot as a barber. Take a little for yourself. You work hard for a reason.
Right.
It's okay to sit down. It's okay to, you know, celebrate the small wins. If you somebody that sits in the shop for all day, like you were saying, like you know, you got to be prepared to sit in the shop. But if you're sitting in the shop all day and for a week you've only had one client each day,
because it's gonna be days. It may be days like that for you.
It's definitely gonna be some days like that. You just have to be willing to stick it out. But say one day you get 2-3 people.
Right.
That's a celebration. By the end of the day, you should be going home being like happy as hell. Like, yo, bro, I just got me like 2-3 more.
That's a piece of the rewards, man. And I feel like if you be faithful to the journey, be faithful to the process, and you reward yourself for the little celebrations, you know what I'm saying? Those celebrations are going to grow.
Yeah, and that's something
they're going to get bigger. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be, you know, you might just be one celebration may just be coming home and being happy. You know what I'm saying? You might fix yourself a drink. You know, you might take a shot. Whatever it is, it can go from that to then now you're at Papados or something, you know.
Yeah.
And from Papados, next thing you know, you're at you know, a Perry Steakhouse or you know, you're at Root Chris or whatever like that. They're gonna grow, man. You just have to be faithful to the process. It's more than just cutting hair. A lot goes behind what we do, and a lot can go between you know, the client and the barber.
Oh yeah.
Because you know, in some type of way. Or some path, you have people that you come across and you're building relationships with those people, or you have a connection with those people.
You are.
You know what I'm saying? So it's always deeper than just cutting hair.
Yeah, I have.
Barbers have to be dedicated, but on another aspect, clients come into play. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I have some people that I've been cutting. I had a conversation with this lady. maybe like a week ago, and I was telling my mom, like, this lady used to bring me. She was the one lady I used to cut her son's hair since he was maybe like 2, and I cut his hair all the way up until I left Georgia. And then she ended up having another son, and I don't think I've ever cut his hair because he was still like, you know how we do that, you gotta be one. So I never ended up cutting his hair, but this lady, like I said, I was working crazy, so she would bring me food, whether she cooked it or she would call me and be like, yo, Danny, what you want to eat? And she would bring me, you know, fried chicken from the cone stove or something. Like, she was bringing me food, you know what I'm saying? So that's how me and her ended up building a deeper rapport with each other. And it went from that to me coming to her house, cutting her kids' hair, to us hanging out and, you know, all types of stuff. But that was so long ago. And till this day, I still talk to her. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Till this day, her kid still remembers me. You know what I'm saying? And you build those type of relationships with people, especially when you're cutting kids' hair. Like, those kids remember you. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if you're their first barber consistently, that kid is gonna grow up, and it's a beautiful thing. I love. Now, I don't cut kids like that no more, just because I've cut kids for so long. And fighting, I don't have the fight in me that I used to have in me to all right, now you can sit down. You know what I'm saying?
I don't cut kids like that either.
I don't have that fight in me no more.
I just I have a few kids that I cut, and then if one of my clients, they have a kid, I'll cut their hair. So I just started cutting. I just gave the first haircut, just gave the second haircut. So you know, I'll do that. I might not, you know, probably can't just go on my books and book a kid cut. You can't. You can book a teenage cut or something, but not just a Tyler or anything.
Nah.
But if you know my client and have a kid, we can, you know what I'm saying? I'll cut because, you know, now at that point, really, you then build the connection with that client.
And it's hard to say no to the kid when you're cutting the father. And you have to.
I just don't think that's right.
Yeah, and then you have to debate. Like, it's a debate whether if you're willing to do that, then that's on you. But it's a decision that has to be made mentally for you. Because some people will make that decision, and there's nothing against making that decision. If you choose not to cut kids, that's 100% your choice. But if you choose to go against that, and you know, I'll make an exception. I feel like, now me personally, I feel like everybody should have exceptions for their rules. But if you're cutting the father and you opt out of cutting the kid when they offer, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna lose the father too. If you send that kid to another chair, 9 times out of 10 the father's gonna follow too. Just because of the schedule conflicts, you know, trying to book with 2 different people, the schedules aren't gonna always line up. So naturally, out of convenience, they're gonna try to go to one barber. So it's not even about the money anymore at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you really want to start building that reputation? You know what I'm saying? Because word of mouth, whether you think people are looking or talking about you.
Oh yeah, they're talking all the time, man.
You know what I'm saying? It's your name is always in somebody's mouth, whether it's about, you know, something personal, whether it's about something career wise.
Yeah, each person that gets out that chair, man, is a walking billboard.
Yeah, and they just said something about you.
You know what I'm saying? Something they didn't. Every person that's got in your chair has mentioned your name.
Gave an Instagram out.
And the more you service that client, the more y'all build a relationship, the more y'all build a connection, and it becomes more than just a haircut. You know what I'm saying? Man, just crazy story just about that, man. I had a guy one time. He was going through like a divorce. He was thinking about getting a divorce, right? Crazy story. He chilling, talking. You know, I'm cutting his hair. He telling me about what he going through or whatever. And he, at that point, he was thinking about going home and you know, cutting ties. Saying I want a divorce, move out, all that. So, you know, I'm listening to him, talking, you know, I'm cutting his hair. And he get up, man, he looked in the mirror and he said, you know what, Trill? I ain't gotta go through this shit. I'm gonna get a divorce. I'm gonna tell her no. And I be goddamn. He wouldn't do it, man. And then just so happened, that happened, and then he got in another relationship. He ended up getting married on the same day that I got married.
What, for real?
Yes.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. That's dope.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, you never know what somebody going through when they sitting in that chair, man. You never know what somebody going through. But so let me ask you, how did you? Because I don't even know if you have one. But do you have a method that you go through mentally when somebody sits in your chair, like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and this? Or do you just kind of freestyle? Just kind of go with
as far as me cutting their hair, or just like
cutting
just
hair.
the whole everything. Going through that. Cutting. Oh yeah. I have a step by step, regardless, and then at this point in my career, a lot of my clients, majority of them, they're on standing appointments. So when I'm cutting, I already know exactly how their hair is at this point. I've been cutting them for years, so I know exactly what to go to. But I still, as far as my steps, I still, to go into detail, I still ball them out first. You know what I'm saying? Then I still do this, and then I cut them down. I still have my same steps regardless for each person that sits in the chair.
Now, it's personal opinion, but I feel like that's important. I feel like you should definitely have some type of method that you have in your head mentally, or whether you wrote it down, it doesn't even matter. But that you go through so you can make that process of when somebody sits in your chair easier on you. Because I don't know about anybody else but me. When somebody sits in my chair and it's the first haircut, I'd be nervous. I'd be nervous as all get out. And I don't know if it's because I've never met this person. I don't know what type of energy they have. I don't know what they're going to expect. Are they going to be a complicated Like, these are all the questions that are going through my head. So I don't know if you noticed, but I don't really take walk-ins too much. Like, if I have the time, you know what I'm saying? But I still evaluate it, like, and they say you don't supposed to judge a book by its cover. You guys, sorry if you hear that, but
no, I think everybody in our world, for our career, man, we when people walk in, you gonna know if you want to cut their hair or not.
Yeah, we judge the book by its cover.
So I guess when we say it, we hypocrites in a way. That's just the truth, man. We gonna keep it real.
Nigga, my life,
if you want to cut their hair or not when they walk through the door.
I'm here, man.
But somebody that book, I know that's what I'm sure you was gonna go some type of way that when somebody books, sometimes it might be somebody that just followed you or something like that. Then they book, and then it's like, I know that name. You look that name, and then you go research a little bit.
I mean, my stomach dropped in my ass when somebody new book. I be thankful. Of course, it's a thankful thing because I'm like, okay, I'm building new clientele. Somebody's looking. Somebody's doing first. But honestly, sometimes when I get new people on my booking list, a client will text me and be like, "Yo, Danny, I just booked for such and such, or I booked 2 times. I don't want you to think that I'm messing up your books. This is for somebody else. Or I'm about to send
because the referrals is what's gonna help you build your clientele.
Bro, that's my big.
Like I say, they walking billboards, man, and they gonna talk about you. They gonna mention your name at some point in time. So
in 14 years, that's how I built clientele. And granted, when I first started, I was one of those people that was out, like, not because I wanted to, but because the owner of the shop, so she didn't cut hair, she was a police officer, and she just owned the shop. But when I say she was a hell of a marketer, she was a hell of a marketer. I was probably not even there for a month before I started just having people come in asking, I heard about y'all new shop, can I get a haircut type stuff. So she was always out on the streets, but she expected me to do the same thing. So when she knew I wasn't cutting hair, she gave me a stack of cards and go to Kroger's and pass these cards out and come back till you done. Type shit. So I didn't hand out cards till I wanted to. I was literally forced to because I'm not a people person. I'm not a person that just goes and talks to strangers and builds, a rapport with them instantly like that. I don't know.
I'm the same way, man. But so since I'm that type of person, what I did was, the referrals are good. Off dump. That's what you want to do. You want that person, that client, to be a walking billboard.
Right.
But you still have to put in work.
Right.
So I wasn't a person to go up to people hand in hand and pass them a business card. So my thing was I would just hit the streets like a promoter or something.
Right.
Something going on. I would stay with flyers. I wouldn't get business cards. I'd get flyers, and I'll put my flyers on cars in parking lots all the time.
Right.
And then now they got a new thing, airdrop. Still to this day, if I go somewhere, I'm about to be airdropping my flyers to whoever got the airdrop on.
That till I met you, like, so I started in a small city, so we wasn't nigga, you ain't gonna walk nowhere and put nothing on nobody's car because it ain't nowhere to put it.
Oh yeah, well that's what I'm saying. I started cutting in the city, so you know what I'm saying. It was cool. It was easy for me to do that rather than walk up to a person and say, "Hey, I'm a new barber. I'm a barber, or this and that." You know, So I just put the flyers on the cars, bro. That was a tactic for me to hit the streets and build my clientele. So I kind of went both ways.
Right.
I did social media and I did the old school way. You know what I'm saying? Standing on the corners, passing out flyers. Now I did that. But as far as like just walking up to people, no. You know what I'm saying? I put them on the car, just be passing them out. Where there's a whole bunch of people, I ain't gotta have no conversation with them. Yeah. For real, I'm just passing them out to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even hold you. Like, I wish I could say I did.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Like, my thing was, okay, so outside of other people promoting for me, because I don't know, there's always been my niche. Like, that's always how I gained clientele was people do the talking for me. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to say it like that, but I just reap the harvest. But at one point when I was on Facebook, because I'm on Instagram a lot now versus Facebook, but Facebook was the only thing out like that crazy. Like, that was the thing in the city where I was at. So what I would do was I would try to hit up at least 50 people a day. And I had this like pre-written out script that I was like, hey, my name is Danny, like introduce myself, tell them what I do, trying to tell them like a little tidbit about me without telling them too much. Because back then, taking a female barber, like you had to come with it a lot different. Like you had to prove yourself a lot different. Like you couldn't just be like, I'm a barber. Because I've been laughed at in my face so many times, it's not even funny. Damn. So you had to sell yourself a lot. And I could sell myself on the internet a lot better than I could in person. So I just used my strengths to my benefit. And I would hit up, I type that shit out, make it sound real good. And I'd hit up, just send that shit out until Facebook would say, you can't send out no more messages. You didn't hit too many people up. Right. And once that time went by, next day I was doing the same thing. And out of those 50 people, I might have got 3-4 people. But I knew I was getting people. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so
it's not to cut you off, but it's so many. Just to say, it's so many different strategies and different ways that you can build your clientele. You're not gonna just walk into the shop and be cutting hair all day. No. It's more than just that. You gotta put the work in behind. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You gotta work for it, man.
Yeah, and you got to work for it more than just marketing too.
If you're not sitting in the shop those hours, that's what you need to be doing. Be consistent with it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? All those different things come into building your clientele. The things that you can be doing or shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, I want to tap into personal wise, like what it took to build you. To be able to give your best self when you're standing behind that chair. I don't know about everybody else because everybody has their stories. With me personally, for the time span that I've been cutting, I'm nowhere near the same person that I was. Like how I started is definitely not where I'm at. Even if you want to be on, like if you want to keep it on a surface level and just say like where I'm at as far as like, you saying like, you said that shit earlier. You was like, you might start at Longhorns or some shit, and then you end up at Bob's. But that's real money because where you start shouldn't be where you're at right now. You know what I'm saying? You should see some type of growth or whatever it is. You have to be able to absorb and apply. So I'm going to ask you this. What are some of the things, and I'm talking about on a introspective way, like looking within, like what are some of the things that you've had to sacrifice, or it can be on a physical way too, like maybe, you know, whether it's relationships or money or, you know, cars or, you know, houses, apartments, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things that you've had to sacrifice, even time, you know what I'm saying, that you've had to sacrifice to be able to be Trill, to be able to give the time that you're able to give, to be able to wake up early as fuck in the morning.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of I don't know the intimate details of your story, but I do know there's a lot of things that go into part of being able to make those decisions and give yourself to the people that you give yourself to every day the way that you do.
Man, for me, I just I come from a strong background, and let me see how I can put this. Or should I put it in? I don't even think it can go any type of way. But the sacrifices and things, just to go back. Let's just go back in time. Mm-hmm. I left Louisiana. I moved to Texas. Again, I went out there to start school or whatnot. Mm-hmm. But I didn't start school immediately.
Right.
It actually took a couple years too. But I've been through things such as I finally started school, and then I'm still going through life. Mm-hmm. I'm still going through, you know, tragedy and somewhat. I lost 2 aunts. Mm-hmm. I lost my grandmother first, and then I lost 2 aunts on the same day, close aunts. And then exactly a month later, I lost another aunt. Mm-hmm. But the day I lost my first 2 aunts, at the time I was kind of doing good. I finally had started school. And I had a job. I had 2 jobs really. Mm-hmm. I had a job in the evening where I go to work at like 4. Right. Get off at midnight, and that was a Monday through Friday job. So I'm going to school in the morning times. Right. And then on the weekends I go to school. I had a job where I did 2 12-hour shifts on Saturday and Sunday. Mm-hmm. So you know what I'm saying. That was I think that was security. So I basically had 2 full-time jobs. Right. And going to school full-time. Yeah. At the time when I lost, on days I lost my aunts, you know, although it was my dad's mom, my dad's sister, mm-hmm. and my grandmother's sister, mm-hmm. You know, they wasn't worried about that shit. I got fired basically from both of those jobs. They fired my ass. Got you. The school, I had to show them obituaries and all that stuff to stay in school. Like, you know, it was rocky at the moment. So I went through some shit, but there was sacrifices. But I went because I've had already sacrificed so much time just being away from them. Mm-hmm. But I knew that was something that I had to do. I had to stop going home all the time. I had to not worry about a job going around it. So I saved up some money to be able to go to school, just quit my job, go to school. You know what I'm saying? But in the process of school, things happen like that because things are going to happen on the journey. And when we say along the journey, we don't just mean the day that you step into the shop. Mm-hmm. We mean from the time that you decide to do this. Yeah. So, you know, those were the things that went on in school. I even seen a dude get armed robbed at school, like a classmate. We leaving school one day, broad daylight, and he armed robbed right in front of my face, man. You know what I'm saying? So, doing that and then even moving because I just had to get more focused and more locked into what I was doing. I had to leave Houston and move to Dallas. I felt like that was going to be a good move for me. And I did it. And I even more just locked into my career and what I wanted to do. I still had things going on, like the mental things, like taking, still being on the medications and stuff like that. So just doing that was a lot. But I had to just, even out here, after I got out of school, it was just really just, when I had jobs, man, it was really saving up the money to be able to do barbering full time. Right. So a sacrifice going to work and going to work at the barbershop. You know what I'm saying? I've spent time being tired. Right. You know what I'm saying? I've worked full-time jobs while being in school. I've worked full-time jobs while getting out of school. And after that, not everybody don't have it, but for me, I was blessed enough to have somebody in the hair industry, and so she knew, you know, what it was like. Right. So Before that, I was struggling.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right,
but at the whole time, this is my plan. This is my reason of having a job, a side job, and stuff like that. Going into a relationship, when you go into a relationship part of it, man, because that can be a up or down in your career. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so relationship, like you said, sacrifices is even with relationships. Like
yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes. I know what you,
at times you even have to put your career before your relationship. Like that's just what you have to do to be focused, to be like to win in what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I was just blessed to have somebody to understand that.
Yeah.
So after some time, after I hadn't already been doing it, you know, she recognized that. And then whenever things, when we talked about it in one of the other episodes, when I got into that wreck and I wasn't able to be able to go get my medicine and stuff anymore, that's, you know, I got off of the medication. But she made sure I still gotten back and forth to work, to the barbershop. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm doing that. But then even working out here, I'm out of school and I'm working in shops. But I'm at the shop all these hours that we talked about before. I set those schedules, whatever's on the door, I'm there. Then after that, you know, I'm there from 11 to 7, 11 to 8, 10 to 8, things like that. I did those type of hours and I didn't have anything anymore. So, you know, I felt like my life was falling apart, but in all actuality, it was coming together. Like I said, at that point, I was at a time it's different now.
Yeah.
I'm a full-time barber. I'm trying to stick to just that.
Yeah, and it's hard.
You know what I'm saying? And it's hard.
Man, I just sit here and listen to your story, like, it just, like, a lot of moments in your story just made me think about my story. And, because it was just a lot that I was just like, oh shit, I remember going through stuff like that, and I remember doing this, and you know what I'm saying. And it's crazy how somebody else can tell their story, and you know what I'm saying. It's nostalgic for you. You get to thinking about like, oh damn, I remember, and it just made me think about, for me, sacrifices for me were a lot of sacrifices were mental. Yeah. I did have a lot of physical sacrifices. Like I sacrificed, my love life has been shit. Just because, and it's not, we're not even gonna get into that, but my career was at the basis of why I was having so many issues. Right. I wasn't able to give my time. I wasn't able to give my whole being because I was so wrapped up into barbering. Like if you knew anything about me, you knew that that's the one thing I cared about the most, because that was the one thing that showed up for me every time I needed it. Right. When I didn't have shit, barbering came about. Right. You know what I'm saying? When I was in trouble, barbering came about. Right. You know what I'm saying? And everything, like when I was in the streets, barbering was there. You know what I'm saying? And that saved me from a lot of the bad decisions that I was trying to make out of being in the wrong environment for myself. Right. I was not in an environment that was conducive to me, and I was trying to make it work. Now, did I know it wasn't working? Hell no. Right. For years, I was just deep into, okay, it was a lifestyle. It was a lifestyle. So when I started, a lot of things that we do now were not present. So back then, you know, barbering was damn near the next best thing to being a drug dealer legally. Like you can make legal money and still do the same bullshit that niggas in the streets is doing. So basically,
and back in the day, man, really depending on where you come from, you couldn't tell them apart.
You couldn't, because everybody thought I was a drug dealer. Right. But it was just because back then we didn't take cards and we didn't take Cash App and we didn't take Venmo and Zelle, and that shit didn't even exist for real. Right. We took cash, and if you didn't have cash, you wouldn't get no haircut. So that's what it was. And so, you know, you walking out of the shop with $300-400 a day, and for the good people, you know, on a good week, you might walk out of the shop $700-800. You never know how much you're gonna walk out, but it's cash and it's in your pocket. So back then, you know, you best to carry. Yep. You know, I was working in the hood, so you had to carry. That was actually a requirement for where I worked at. Is that if you don't work here, you're gonna carry a gun. And that alone.
Because it was so heavy, barbershops was like a popular place to get robbed back then.
Oh yeah, they was.
And somebody might even try it today.
I was definitely somebody that broke our windows. We done had motherfuckers run up in there, all type of shit. I done had to up a gun on people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's definitely been a lot of, I got a lot of stories I can tell about, you know what I'm saying, the things that went on back then. But people just knew that barbers carried a lot of money, and we did. You know what I'm saying? At any given point, I had $5,000 to $7,000 just stacked up on my cupboard in the house. I didn't believe in banks, so I wasn't using no bank or nothing like that. I was just keeping cash money the old school way. And so, you know, I mean, if you was dumb, you would try it, but it was some dumb niggas out there. You know what I'm saying? It was some dumb people out there who were willing to try it. But for me, my sacrifices became even more mental the more money I started making. So the more money I started making, the more, you know, oh, I'm finna go out and do this. And, you know, I was working 12 hours, and then I come from there. I go to the mall. I go buy me an outfit, go put that thing on, go to my homegirl's house. It's about, you know, 5 of us over there. We pre-gaming. And then we go from there. We go into some type of club or some type of bar. We staying out till 4 o'clock in the morning. After that, I'm coming home, sleeping as much as I can, and waking up and doing it all over again. You know what I'm saying? And that was my lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? But I became so wrapped up into it. I was getting deeper and deeper and didn't even know. It took my clients being like, yo, what you got going on? You know what I'm saying? Or people just like, yo, you need to stop. You know, they saved me. Some of my clients were like, they were the ones that were telling me, you know, you don't need to go do this, and you know, you need to stay in the shop and just cut hair and get your money and
your clients will save you too, man. That's all from building a connection. Once you have that connection with a client, it's
and for me,
it turns into a different ball game.
For me, those people are still prevalent in my life today. I still have very deep connections with those people, and those are relationships for me. They're a lifetime, because the things that we went through together as barber and client, and then just as, you know, that's my folks. You know what I'm saying? Like, we went through a lot. You know what I'm saying? And we did this shit together. So I would say me cutting hair isn't just it isn't just me. No, it's not just me. It's so many people behind it that helped me get to where I'm at. Because it was a many of times that I wanted to quit. I have a tattoo on my knee right now that says trust the process. And I remember getting that tattoo because at that moment I wanted to set my clippers down. And I was at my final stage where I was just like, fuck it. And that's all I could say in my head was, you know what I'm saying? And I had somebody call me on the phone, and she was just like, yo, we had just left the job on base together. And she called me on the phone, and she was just like, yo, what you doing? I think it had been at least 3 weeks since I had cut hair. And for me, that was the longest I've never cut hair. And she was just like, yo, what you doing? I was just like, at the house, chilling. And she was like, so you don't plan on
going to work?
You know what I'm saying? And everybody knew I always had a spot back where I started cutting hair, because that was just my spot. If I wanted to go back, I could. What you doing, man? Just chilling? And she was just like, nah. She was like, so you don't plan on cutting hair? I was just like, be honest with you, I'm just gonna go get me a regular job, get me a regular paycheck, and be done with all this extra shit. And she was like, nah. She was like, pack your clippers up, come here tomorrow. She was like, and I'm almost certain I can get, and that's when I told you I was working with that old Asian lady. That's the shop that, you know what I'm saying? And it was a godsend for me, because it saved my career. That was a pivotal moment that made sure I kept my clippers in my hands. Without that lady, and I just want to say shout out to Sunny. She probably would never watch this. Just out of not being able to understand. But shout out to Sunny, because she turned my life around, and not just in the barbering game, and showed me how to be more professional, how to cater to people better. Like the whole me massaging and being able to do the things that I do. That was Sunny. Like, she taught me that. I was not no professional barber. I'll cuss you out in a minute. I'd kick you out my chair in a minute. Like, my attitude was horrible. It was trash. And she showed me a better way. And not even just that, like, physically, like, I was out of shape. And she showed me a better way. You know what I'm saying? I lost a lot of weight. I gained more mental clarity. You know what I'm saying? And I started treating myself better as a person and as a barber. And for me, things started taking off, but I started to slowly realize that my environment was no longer conducive to what I needed. And then if you're staying stagnant with anything, not just barbering, if you're staying stagnant with anything, it's time to reevaluate. It's time to, check yourself. And I know that's the hardest thing to do. Because that wasn't easy for me, is to check myself and tell myself something was wrong with me. Right. For me, everything was wrong with everybody else and nobody understood me. But the reality of it was a lot of things wrong with me, and I was unwilling to admit that. And it was easier to find the faults in everybody else than to find the ones in myself. Like, nigga, you just as important as the motherfuckers you trying to take care of. You know what I'm saying? Don't play yourself.
No, that's some true shit right there. Because it can be hard, but sometimes people. That's a good thing about people and building those connections with your clients or just people in general, because they can instill that belief inside of you, man. It was times for me too where I didn't believe in myself, or I didn't see myself, and I kind of struggle with it today. You don't see myself for who I am today. Right. You know what I'm saying? There's people around me that remind me of that.
I think it's because we're always looking to improve ourselves. We
stay so strong on trying to improve and do more. Yeah. And it's so much, you know what I'm saying, that you have written down
that you want to do.
That you want to do.
And you feel like you're falling behind.
And you don't take the time out. So that's why the little celebrations and the little things are important, because we don't take time to realize where we're at and the accomplishments that we already made. Yeah, so it's important to do that, the self-care, and just congratulating yourself, patting yourself on the back.
Yeah,
especially we can be a lot for people.
Especially if you don't have anybody doing that for you. And that's another thing, is just making sure that you have a good support team. It doesn't have to necessarily be a family, because sometimes the family isn't going to be what you need them to be, or they're not going to see the vision that you need them to see, to give you the support that you need to get to.
That's a part of the sacrifices you got to go through. Everybody's not going to see what you see, or know what you know, or believe what you believe in. So, and
sometimes you might got to get rid of people that you don't want to. It might, and it's going. Some of them sacrifices, and that's something we talk about sacrifices like they easy, but that stuff hurts, man. Yeah, that's not easy. It's not. I don't want to make that impression like sacrifices are easy. To choose to have to get rid of somebody out your life because they're no longer serving you in the way that you need them to serve you, it's not easy.
One of my good things to say is along the journey, whether you're just an entrepreneur period, or somebody that excels in their own 9-to-5 career or whatever, or a barber, as you grow, people are going to change. Yeah. Things are going to change.
The circle going to change.
Yes, it definitely going to change. And something I like to remember is, a lot of times people, they want to see you do good, but they don't want to see you do better than them. Yeah. They know you for being a certain person, or in a certain bracket. And once you excel that, they don't know they don't know what to do with it.
Well, I mean, with that, I feel like growth isn't comfortable either. Sacrifice anything that changes who you are is not comfortable, because
everything's gonna change.
It puts you in a different realm than your norm, what you're used to. To wrap this up, I just want to say to everybody don't take anything for granted, man. Don't take your friends for granted. Don't take your clients for granted. Because you never know what could happen to yourself. You never know what could happen to your clients or in their lives. So always send a prayer up for the people that are sitting in your chair, man, and make sure that you have a certain element of protection for yourself, mentally, physically, and you know what I'm saying. Just make sure that you pay respect to the game, to whatever it is that you're doing, man. Make sure that you give it your all. You know what I'm saying? No matter what the sacrifices are, no matter what type of time that you have to spend doing it, no matter whatever the costs are, be willing to pay the cost.
Yeah,
because
pay the cost to be the boss.
Yep, pay the cost to be the boss. Because at the end of it, you know what I'm saying, you might end up in a position way more than you ever could imagine. So it's always something better on the other side. You just have to stick in and hold tight for the ride. So
be faithful to the process.
Yeah, with that, you guys, we appreciate you listening to us once again. Talking about it's more than just a cut today, and hopefully you gained some good knowledge, you gained some good jewels, and you got to know us a little better.
Yes.
And hopefully you tune into the next episode, and you stuck with us this long, and just keep sticking with us because it's going to get even better every time. So thank you guys for tuning in to the Barber Cave Sit Down. Once again, I'm your girl Danny. We got our girl Trill over here.
You already
and we
know.
got Missy on the couch.
Yeah. Sit down on the sit down. Missy's sitting down too. She say, I'm in here.
Y'all. We appreciate y'all once again. Much love to everybody who's tuning in. And we'll see y'all in the next one.
All right. The Barber Cave Sit Down. Thank y'all.